what's it doing for you?
All right, well, we're pretty much live now, I think. What is
Oh,
it?
wow,
What
we're
is it? What is
live.
it doing for you?
What is it doing for you? Guys, we were just discussing, wow, what are the questions you're asking somebody when you want help for something? Are you asking the right question? Scott gets these questions all the time that says, hey, I need my website rebuilt for it so I can have higher ranking. And Scott goes, hey, if you got a good website, you probably don't need a new website. You probably need optimization so you can get different people to your website. Now, there's another story. If you got a really sucky website, you probably need help with that too. So, what's the question? Where are you going to get the information you want? As helpers of people, both Scott and I are coaches, and also we help people with hypnosis and other things. When people come to us, most of the time they think this is what they're looking for, but 90% of the time it's something else. So are you ask yourself before you go to somebody, just some of those go back like 100 episodes and go look at well-formed outcome. And so before you go to somebody, say, what do I want? What have I done to get it? And what are the things it takes to get there? And ask the questions, if you want more of this, what do you have to do? Now, that's why you come to a Scott or somebody who's going to help you figure those things out. But sometimes you gotta think before you go somewhere. It's just you're not even on a level that you don't even know you don't know. And Scott, right offhand, boom, second you start talking to Scott, he's got those seven answers. They're going, you don't even know what you're talking about. You're not even asking the right questions. So it's kind of maybe a good thing to even have an order or a little question and answer thing. Is this what you're wanting, or is this what do you want? And because a lot of times they come in, for instance, the thing we were talking about earlier, I want to get a new website so I can get higher ranking. Now that is totally bogus. Do you know why? Because when you go out and get a new website and you cut your old one off, all those links that were connected to
Backlinks,
it,
yeah.
the links are gone. And so you're it's and sometimes you can relink them, but oh my gosh, but they're not linked to the same things because I when I did one of my upgrades, oh my God, there were so many dead links. So
Yeah,
you
and that
gotta
hurts your
really,
SEO.
yeah. So you gotta know what you're looking for. And the truth is, most of the people right now seems who's coming to Scott, they just want something. Okay, I want more business. And what are you going to do to get it? Well, that's why I came to you. I build me a website. Okay, what will a website do for
So
you? Go
there's so
ahead.
many different stories that go with that. Like another one, like there was five different people that popped in my mind just as you were talking. I don't even know which direction to go in. It's kind of like, well, I had somebody hit me up and they were like, "Oh yeah, I want more sales," and they do T-shirts, right? So number one, I don't really study a whole lot of e-commerce, which e-commerce is like you're selling items, right? Where you do like service based, right? Like HVAC, plumbers, performers is a different type of linkage, we'll say, between websites or whatever. But the guy was like, "Oh, I want to do more sales." Okay, well, even though I've been to all these conferences and stuff, I know a little bit about it. I know a little bit about, like the mindset of what you want to do. Well, basically, the guy was making t-shirts and he was just coming up with designs and he had another, website like, making and printing and selling and distributing, right? Like so basically you were making like I don't know, we were talking about like $10 off the t-shirt or something like that. And it's like, well, what's your profit margin on that? And like where do you really see yourself going? You would want to buy your own printing T-shirt and then do it at a bulk sale versus like $10 a shirt. And that was just like, one thing, right? And then, me as a marketer is like, oh, what can you do? Well, basically, what I can do is create you a website, and then you want to collect information. That would be like the most important thing to do. And then you'd want to email the hell and text the hell out of people, and then give them discounts to like spread your audience, right? So how PayPal was did I talk about PayPal at all? Well, basically, Elon Musk came up with the idea to grow PayPal, where he would give somebody money, or well, let's say you bought something, but they gave it to you in PayPal money, which was real money. But the only way that you could get the money out was to create another account. So that's how PayPal grew to be the biggest freaking thing online, is because they would send money using the app, but you couldn't get the money unless you had an account. So that's how it grew. So that's basically, the idea that you would want to do with a t-shirt or something with e-commerce. You'd be like, oh, I'll give you a 10% discount code if you get one of your friends or something like that to sign up. Now that's just like skimming the top of whatever the hell my knowledge is on something like that. Because I don't sell t-shirts. I don't have like a third party person printing up things for me, or I have that on automation. Like there's so many different things to think about. And that was just like one scenario, to talk about. And then I had somebody hit me up this morning, which they didn't they didn't know the right question to ask. Right? I didn't like they asked me the first thing. It was like, oh, do you think I should redo my website using Project Shepherd? Project Shepherd is Frank Kern's, LLM, large language machine model, that does SEO, or it does copy, right? So it's just a copy, and which it could be super great in in persuasive and Frank Kern's type of language, which is great. But like if you redo the whole website in Project Shepherd, I mean, all you did was change the words on your website, right? So does that help you? What is the goal? Yeah, when someone goes to your website and they read it, it'll be more persuasive and more in the Frank Kern tone, and more, conversational, because that's how he talks. He talks like somebody at a coffee shop or something like that. Your best friend. But okay, we have that. Now, is that no? If you now before you get into the project, it's like, oh, I want my page to be number one on Google. Okay, well then there's a lot of different things we can look at here. Well, I've sat down with many guys who actually do this for a living, and from what I know, like there's multiple ways to get on the first page of Google, right? Number one, is like, where are you pinged, right? Are you in a niche? Do you have words like, well, like for me, Orlando, and do you have an office in Orlando? And is it, mapped out on Google, 20 miles out from the location or whatever? So that's one way. And then there's another way to keep your, website super tidy, with images and stuff like that. Make sure your images are marked. And then I had another guy who does, SEO, and he's like, well, your images don't need to be, web, formatted, or, super labeled properly or whatever. Because another way to get on Google's first page is like, me personally, I have an advertiser's account, so I spend $400 to $500 a month in advertising. So Google was more opt or more amped or more beneficial for them to show my company higher than somebody else's. And then also, if you were going to go through and just change the wording on your website, like I have another service that I pay for that does blog posts, and they post, one article a week, which is four articles a month, and then that just backlinks to your website, and then that enables to ping you up higher on Google. So I had all this information going through text, and I'm getting questions like, oh, should I just reformat the words on my site? And I'm like, well, you could build a whole new website in a couple of hours with I was going in a totally different direction, because Go High Level has a new AI called vibe coding, is what they call it. And the difference between vibe coding and LLM, right, is ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, right? LLM. When you start using words like vibe coding, it's still AI, but it's AI with actions, with product, right? Like, oh, build me a website. So it does all the LLM stuff and then actually builds you something. Sorry, I zoned out. Are you asking the right questions? Do you have enough knowledge to get the result that you're looking for? Sorry. That was just two people I talked to. I'm sure there's more other silly things that have come up. Oh yeah, here's another one too. Like it's an insult to me because I spend all this time, money, and energy learning the proper ways to do things, and flying around the country to figure out, some of the best practices from some of the experts and the millionaires, right? This is what they do. And then somebody was asking me how I did my contracting. Oh, your contracting is so awesome. I need that. Okay, well, $50 a month and $1,500, and I'll set it up for you. Oh, I just want to know what you're using. I was going to go on YouTube and figure it out for myself. If you fucking wanted to do that, then you could have had it done already. Like, and if you go online, there's a sea of freaking information out there. Have at it. That was another guy. So it's like,
Well,
how do you help the because people are small business owners, right? They're like they're already motivated, right? Like they're already like out there doing things. But it's like they haven't understood, or the people that I've talked to recently haven't understood that you hire people to do the things that you don't have the time for. They haven't figured out, do what you do, and then figure out, pay the money to have somebody do what you don't enjoy
yeah,
doing or haven't figured out. And then there's
right.
also the mindset of, um, I have a factory mindset. I want to mass produce everything. So if you don't have a machine that's well oiled, spend the money on the machine, then it just like I had 3 contracts signed today when I wanted to work on a video. And that took me 5 minutes. And then I went back to my video because the machine's already built. I can build people machines, just haven't found the right people yet. When a machine built.
I think one of the first questions that maybe people should answer for themselves is what do they have to invest in what they're looking for?
Yeah, you
What's
can't get
their
nothing for like you got to put something in.
right? Because, at least since I was in business, you got to spend money to make money. I mean, literally, even how old I've been in there 40 years, but even in when I first got in, I just started pouring money into the business and it grew and I poured more money. I think back then they said, you need to pour 20% at least of your wages back into your company every year or more. But basically, if you want your company to grow. So that might be an advertisement, that might be buying equipment like you do a lot, it might be upgrading your costumes if you're a clown, upgrading your service.
Or
You
buying
know,
that one-off freaking thing that you need for that one show that you might get once a year. Like, probably not like a bunny, but probably like like a cowboy. Not California, like
like I've
Texas, a
got a
cowboy
gig
outfit or
tomorrow.
something.
I've got a gig tomorrow, and I had somebody build me a fake little thing I'm going to use as a prop tomorrow for a elevator.
Oh,
And then
cool.
I've been learning elevator jokes because elevators are up and
Have they been
down. I
uplifting?
Huh? Yeah, I just started on the first floor, but the good thing because I'm becoming a bellhop, and I lost my bell, so I have no bell anymore. No bell, no bell. Anyway, back to because I'm trying to, you
Nobel
know,
Peace
get
Prize?
up in life. Some people take the corporate ladder, but that's not as safe as taking an elevator. And if you want to get on that top floor, I know there's a lot of people pushing your buttons, yet if you push the right ones, you might be floored and have to stop. But we continually go up that, and then we're going to get you to the top layer. And the ladder doesn't even reach that high. So that's the pitch, and that's why I've been doing the elevator pitch. I throw that, yeah. Here's
Okay,
my
how many people know
elevator
what an
pitch. Listen to
elevator pitch
this.
is?
I'm gonna, here we go. This is my elevator pitch. Oh,
That's your elevator pitch?
and also I've got these, actually, so we were going on what kind of props and what are you going to bring to a certain gig. So you have things made like that. I'm going to bring a I'm bringing 35 juggling balls to this gig. I'm bringing
That's a lot of
15.
balls.
Yes, if I need to teach juggling. And then I'm also bringing 15 spinning plates. But the theme is, it's circus. So primary colors is red. I'm red, blue, and yellow. So I'm bringing five of each. And then I've got limbo stick, and then I've got the same color of the balloons too. And I'm going to be wearing that same suit too to match their booth. So these are things you work on to do a corporate gig. And so the same thing with your website, you want it to have whatever your theme is basically saying, this is what we do for you. What do we want to do?
And
Can I match you?
honestly, website is like should be such a small pebble in the whole scheme of things.
Well, Scott, used to though, if you
Yeah, it
didn't
used to
have
be
a,
the major flagship of your
yeah,
company.
because yeah, if you didn't have a website, you're pretty much not in business to
Yeah.
most people. So now, since there's so
And
much
if you don't have
more,
a website, there's no freaking excuse at this point because it's so easy to make.
right?
Like,
And again, I think some of the people come to you just to pick your brain, and but
oh,
and they just picking your brain, and they don't know what they're talking about, and you get frustrated with that a little bit. But um, I think the first question I would ask when people come to me, "What's your budget?" And
yeah,
then I know with their budget, I'll know if I can help them or not. Basically,
you got a budget? That could be my next question from now on. And it
yeah, if you
sounds
don't,
so freaking cocky
right.
and conceited, but like,
No, what's your budget? Because we don't even need to be talking if you don't have a budget, because these things that I have these solutions cost money. And that's I think the number one first thing you'd ask them, what's your budget? Because it for anything, getting a new website done, do you want to have a service that does it for you? Do you want to have the newest AI? What do you want? Do you saying you want to be on front page? Now, maybe let's just think about it. Even if you get on front page, okay, and you're the number one, can you make that sales pitch? And do you have something to sell? This is what we say first. Do you have a product that's worth selling? And if you don't, some of this is minute. You go, well, I'd be the best DJ in the world if I just get more business.
I got
How much
t-shirts.
business have you had? How many gigs you've done? I've done 100. You've done 100? I've done 10,000. So I come on, man. That's not very many. 100 is like you're a baby. You're going to be a baby for 10 years. So I don't know. But what's your budget and what do you want? Where do you want to go with this? So, there's so many things they don't even know. The problem is, Scott, again, is they don't know what they don't know. When they come in and they give you those, but I think one of those things you could say, if anybody comes to you, how much is your budget? You know, and if you
Yeah.
don't have a good budget, there's a lot of this stuff.
There is one thing that's been brought to my attention from using Chat GPT, and I still don't quite understand it because it told me that I was too informative with my Facebook ad that I talked. It said
Mhm.
like because I got a lot of people to click on it, but nobody put their information in. So I ran the captions through Chat GPT, and it told me, well, you're very informative about what you're doing, but like the regular person doesn't understand how that gets them what they want. So it's like, oh yeah, AI can respond to your phone calls. Well, that's great. What the fuck does that do? You know, well, it keeps them on the hook so you can give them money. So you end up not telling them the process, but you just tell them the end results, which is it's kind of hard for my identity
Maybe,
to get
maybe
along
it's
with that.
saying maybe it's saying they got to have the why they need it, why they need it. I mean, yeah, it answers phones, but what does that do for me? Well, do you know how much money you're losing every time you don't answer that call? So this is what people can actually even do. Think about how much is your each call worth, right? So if you got let's say when you answered the phone, you booked a gig, what would that average gig be? Okay, so when you got that, then every call that could have been a business and you didn't get it, it's somebody else got it, because a lot of times people, I'm not saying always, but a lot of times you're just going down a list, and if you're not on the list, if you're not answering your phone, heck with you. But so if you caught, let's just say they were worth $1,000 a customer with all your stuff, and then you lost one or two, just a week, two a week, which would be two a week for a month, two for $8,000. If your average call that you booked was $8,000, that would be even like air conditioner man, or somebody who puts a wedding together, somebody who DJs, a top-notch thing, could be anything. Uh, Definitely. So, what what are those calls that not getting answered costing you? And then you can work that in the business. And remember, for most of you, and I'm sure you already know, if you're self-employed, everything you spend on your advertisement and products you get are tax deductible. So, to make your life easier and take a lot of, Scott, can go do his work and make the money while his, AI is making more money for him. So you actually have kind of like a secretary doing all that work that you don't have to. So you're saving so much time. Here's another thing to think about: how much you believe your time is worth. You know, if your time is worth nothing, then do it yourself. But if your time is worth more, did you know the one thing in life you can never, ever, ever get back in your life? You can get more money, you can get more stuff, but you can never get more time. You're going to die when you die, and most people are going to have a span of up to 75, 80 years. What do you want to do with that time? Are you using your time efficiently? What do you want? So do you want to waste all these hours and hours doing the things you don't like to do? What he was talking about earlier too is do what you do best. Find something in life that you're really good at and you like to do, and make that your niche and do that. And then pay the other people for more time to do, or pay the other people or things or AI to do what you don't want to do, so you can spend your time at the event that you like. Say you're a DJ and you really love DJing. Now get that all automated, and now you don't have to spend as much time, and you can do what you like, and people are going to pay you. So, what is your hourly rate you charge? And take that times how much time you're saving. And one thing, at the end of your life, you're not going to look back and say, "I wish I would have worked more." So I can tell you, I'm almost there, and I'm going. I don't wish I would work more. But I did learn a lot on the way.
Yeah, I guess the experience is what the experience is, right?
Well, Scott, both of us, we've studied a lot. We've
So
studied a lot.
so I guess my mind is having a hard time wrapping around this. I'm going to read you what I actually said, which I thought was pretty good, which was apparently pretty good because I got a lot of clicks, right?
Okay.
But and it was like, well, this is good, but like in low urgency. It said a bunch of things, and I was like, I wish this would have worked. Anyway, it did work, just not 100%. So what I said was, do you own a small business? Are you having a hard time keeping up with leads and emails and everything that's coming in constantly, but you still want to grow and maybe you don't have enough money to pay for someone full time to sit down in the office and answer all the calls? Well, you need a website, a smart website that collects information, sends the emails and texts, and go ahead and click the link below. Now, you click the link below, I'm going to make sure to follow up with you. It's going to lead you to a calendar, and then I can sit down with you and show you how AI can, help your business. This is what I said. And then it was like, okay, well, that was all right, but let me give you this one. So if you own a small business and you're missing calls, forgetting to follow up, or losing because you're busy, this is the one for you. This is for you. Most business owners don't need more employees. They need a system that responds instantly. I built AI powered websites and automated systems that answer leads fast, send texts and emails automatically, qualify prospects, book appointments, and follow up while you're working. So instead of losing customers, your business keeps running even when you're busy. If you want to see how this could help your business, click the link below and fill out the form, and then I'll see you soon. Which I don't, in my mind, I can't see the major difference between the two.
And did AI say one was the better than the other
Yeah,
one?
the second one is the one it told me to say, and the first one was the one I said.
Okay.
So I'm having a hard time differentiating between telling them how it works versus like telling them why they need it, or should they just be worried about the end result versus like how it happens. And you got one coach that's like, oh yeah, you want to make sure to use that AI because it's a buzzword, right? Like, and
Mhm.
And then ChatGPT is like, maybe you don't want to use it because you just want to tell them how it works. But the name of the business is aibusinessspection.com. So I think there's just like a tiny misconnect that I haven't figured out.
And it might been maybe too much of an ask to set an appointment. If you have any questions, or please give
It's
us a
gotta
call
be
if
an
we can
appointment.
help you in
Yeah.
any way. You know.
You don't beg either. You don't please give us a call. We don't fucking say that
Okay,
shit.
well, okay, without that. No, and listen. What I mean is that sometimes people may want, but they don't want to commit to a
Well, those
you
aren't the
know.
people I want then. I'm looking for
Okay,
somebody that wants to fucking change. Which
okay.
I guess I'm just gotta tune my frequency a little bit.
Well, what my brain goes to something like that when I hear it, it's like I don't want a hard sell. It's like so I
Yeah, we know
would,
how fast you move.
huh?
We know how fast you move.
Exactly.
You're not what I'm looking for.
Okay, you got a point.
So
So
I didn't see a big difference between what it told me to say other than what I did say. But I actually haven't ran the ad with what it told me to say, so um, that'll be soon.
also, could you ask another chat a
Yeah,
different
yeah,
one?
um, I can actually take the same chat GPT and tell it to cross-reference Russell Brunson, Billie Jean, and Frank Kern and say, how would the three of these sit down at a table and handle this? Do something like that.
That might be a better option.
Anyway, $1,000 gone and a couple negative laughy comments. So
Well, that's a good point to
this
make
is
right
the
now too.
story of the entrepreneur here.
Yeah, here's things. For instance, with me, for my company, I'm older, so at first I put out 13 ads in phone books. And some people might not even know what a phone book is anymore. Now, now
You
these
sit on
phone
those when
books,
your legs can't reach the steering wheel.
yeah. Exactly. Uh, so, but they were learning experience even there, because at first phone books were alphabetical. Okay. If you had a business called All Occasion Performers, you were on the top with all the A's. But later on, they decided whoever pays the most gets the bigger ad, and then that didn't matter if you're A or B or something. Then they did family entertainment, and then they did entertainment. But first they came out with entertainment, and then you had all the strippers coming and all that, and then it
Man,
later
you
on
still
they
got that
bring
number?
8675309 for a
Okay.
good time call.
Okay.
Now, so anyway, just like you're doing right now, and everyone has to do a little bit, is without really going out and working on stuff. Like Scott's always working on improving and testing the waters, and he put $1,000 on an ad that didn't work. I got
Multiple
Yelp one
ads.
time. I bought an ad on Yelp for $5,000. I mean, and this was 20 years ago, and back then, $5,000 was a lot more than it is now. So 20 years ago, I put $5,000 in an ad and I didn't even get a call. And so I cut it out and I had to lose like half of it because, yeah. So what I'm saying is, in business, we're due learning experiences. We do, it's sort of like, so go ahead. You got something there,
No,
Scott?
I just remember Billy Jean saying that he spent like, I don't know, $10,000 on an ad and he didn't freaking have the return email or call to action on it. And he was like, boop, that's gone.
Well, then you learn, or you go to.
Yeah, you sure do.
Sometimes you got to spend that money to get that information.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just seems bigger and bolder. Like, oh yeah, I tell someone I spent $100,000 on ads. They're like, "What are you talking about? $100,000 on the education I've had just in the last 6 years." Well, it adds up. Like it fucking does. Like. But to find people of that magnitude is not easy, because that's not like a regular, that's not a conversation you would have with just anybody off the street, right? Like you got to find people that understand how business works, or even the money that I've spent is fucking nothing compared to some other people, right? Like I'm sitting here thinking like I'm trying, and other people are like, oh yeah, you haven't even got up to my level. Okay, well, I'm in the game somehow.
Every level,
Yeah,
different levels. They got to level up, right?
yeah, keep leveling. Yeah. So
So
yeah,
that's where they have to start. They have to start first with the no knowledge till they know that it's going to cost them some money to get what you want, or
yeah. I'm sitting here talking about like $100,000 last 6 years, and then I went to Dallas, and the guy just gave away a car. Like that makes sense. So it really like takes whatever you thought you were doing and going, shit. Like, it's nothing, really.
well, it's all perspective too.
Like,
You guys spend money to make money, but some people don't have enough money to spend yet. And yet, sometimes people have to invest in themselves to go to that extra step. And that's one thing about you, Scott. If you want to go really good, is you've invested in yourself for years and years and years with your degrees first, and then learning more stuff, and then becoming, pretty much one of the best in your field, and then learning how to get more business, then learning how to deal with the people around you, like even the new people you work with in the new DJs, the different systems. Now you're getting a big digital board,
video wall, yeah.
video wall, and I mean, each one of these steps is another step to get to where you want to go. It'd be just like the guy, and with the website. Now, why do you need a news website? If your website's okay, let's figure out what else you could do
Yeah,
with it,
I think I have to learn that like when anybody comes to me, that like I have to back up like 5 steps. Like, okay, you're here.
Right.
How did you get to here? Let's do that first. Like,
And where are you at now, and where do you want to be, and where do you see your company growing, and what kind of investment are you willing to do to get where you want to go? So, what we really want to know is first, are you willing to take that jump? Because if you're not willing to take the jump, then all you're doing is, just just going in a circle. So, what would you be willing to do? You know what they used to say, what would you be willing to give up today to have what you want tomorrow? So what kind of work would you do? What investment would you make? Now this, for instance, we have half the kids in the who just graduate from high school now going to college. Each one of them are taking that step. They're getting a loan out to become, whatever they're trying to become. I think you got a loan out to become the sound.
yeah,
Right.
$20,000 for a bachelor degree, $60,000 for a recording arts degree. So
So
80,000 just, and that was 2002.
So there was 80,000 there investment. And people that you're talking to aren't even willing to invest 3,600 to $5,000 in their company. So if they're not willing to put 5,000 or 10,000 in your company and make it a better company, then they probably don't want a better company, because especially because if you're just say you're making about 100,000 a year, and again the rule is about 20%, or used to be, uh, that you're going to put back in your business, and you've only spending $5,000 or $10,000, you still got $10,000 you can buy something to invest in your company, because every year, if you want it to grow it with exponentially, you're going to have to put that money back in with something, either time, labor, because nothing matters to people unless you do effort, time, or money. And if they're not given that, they don't think it's worth anything.
Where did
So
that come from? Did that come from Tony?
I don't know who was the creator of that thing, but it's across a whole bunch of places. Basically, if you don't put time in it,
Time,
then
money,
you
and energy.
time, money, and energy. Uh, because that's the thing about when people are getting hypnosis and also life coach
Could have been
or
Mike
any
Mandel. Maybe I heard
coaching,
it from him.
if if they don't put if they don't put the money in, that's what it's worth, nothing. And some helpers of people believe the more you charge them, the more they get out of it. Now, because if you get it for free,
Oh my God, there has to be some sort of like, yeah, that Russell Brunson just said swears by it.
right? But this is way before Runsell. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah, for
because
sure. Yeah,
he's a
yeah.
baby. He's old. He's not very old. What is he? 30,
Yeah,
40?
yeah, it's probably in his 40s.
Yeah. So it was way before him.
I just remember it's most prominent in my mind because he talks about it in one of his books.
Yeah.
I mean, but I'm sure he's not. Yeah. Anyway,
Yes.
it's over $100,000 to be inside of his inner circle, and every time you go meet him, he gives you information on how to grow. And he brought his family with him for free, and they never got anything out of it. Well, because they weren't spending $100,000 a year to be in the circle.
And
Yeah.
a lot of
Or
times,
even money doesn't necessarily make it either, right? Like you could be paying for your kid to go to school and they don't care.
right? Because they didn't have to do anything to get it.
Time,
It
money, and
doesn't mean
energy.
as much.
Yeah.
My teachers used to say the the person with the most talent isn't the one who's going to make it. The person who wants it the most is the one going to make it. That's why I made it because I didn't have any talent, but I won a scholarship, and it's like I wanted it the most.
I don't really consider myself the most talented. I consider myself the most driven.
Yeah. So uh, a lot of times you'll find that with also almost all your rich people out there who've come from nothing to riches,
Those are
there's
my
all,
idols. I studied
huh?
all of those. Those are my idols. I studied those.
Yeah. So they come from something and then they want to have a better life and they make it better. I think that's the story of Tony Robbins. That's the story with Oprah. That's the story with uh, Rocky.
Yeah,
That's the story
it's
with,
the story is age as old as time.
yeah, it's the hero's journey pretty much. Basically that's the story, and everybody's got that. uh you're doing what you're doing, and then there's a crisis, you overcome the crisis, and you go on. But when I'm helping people, what I usually say, it's not what's going to happen to you in your life, it's how you're going to deal with it, because stuff is going to happen every year. I mean, I was robbed, so, and and boom, so what? And then my car breaks down, I have to do that, and then another thing, and then another thing. And it's that, if we haven't been talking about happiness, but that's why we want, I mean, we haven't lately, but we've talked about happiness. Look at that. I thought about the happiness coach. Basically, it's how you're going to deal with it, and what meaning do you give to everything. It's like, what are you doing each day to keep your happiness up, and how far do you go down when you get sad? How long does it take you to get back to your happiness level? What is your happiness level? So that's another thing. You could ask, because we could break it down with the meta model. You could go, uh, what is this going to do for you when you get your business? Do you really want this? I mean, if they don't want it, or if they, because truthfully, they could get too much business. And what do you do with too much business? Now, do you want, because this is going to be so much more efficient, you're probably going to make so much more money because you're getting all those six calls that you wouldn't have got. That's an extra 6,000 times 12, $66,000 a year you're making. What are you going to do with that? Are you going to invest it? Or are you going to put that X 20% back in your business and then maybe get somebody, you know,
And before you start doing that, make sure your machine's working. Your selling machine, your product machine,
right.
you don't want to get backed up because you can't handle everything that's coming in.
Again, that's the thing. Do you have something to sell? It's sort of like You want to make $10 a t-shirt, okay, and you can only make 30 in a month. So that's $10 times 30,
Yeah.
$300. It's not, this is one of those things probably not worth your, it's not the thing for you if you can't
Not the
afford.
model. It's probably
Yeah,
not a good model.
you can't afford just the equipment that you need. Did you know those little machines that make those things are 25 to 45, 50, $60,000 a piece? I have a friend who's got a few of them. To,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, he
I'm
makes
sure the
shirts.
good ones are.
Actually, he made my shirts. Did you see him? The the Tharpo happiness.
Well, there you
Yeah.
go. You make shirts.
So he makes shirts, and but he does hundreds at a time, and you know, but he's not. It takes a while to make a shirt. You've got to put it in a computer. You got to do all the graphics, and then you got to put it in each one. Vroom, vroom, vroom. And it depends on how many shirts you're trying to do. Then you have to have there's so many things you have to think about. How much ink does it take? Da, 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 da. These are
Oh,
just like
I was thinking
DJs.
about giving away shirts for my speech in Atlantic City. You have a guy?
I've got a guy. I don't know how I could give you a number and you could ask him questions, or you could give me a list of questions and I could find out for you. If you wanted to text me what you need to know, and I could text him and say, I have somebody, so I could find the answers, or I could just give you his number and you could ask. And,
Just
you
an
know,
idea.
but the other thing, it might be um, sometimes it's more reasonable if you got somebody in your own town. So, but instead of shipping from Texas.
Got it.
But
All right.
no, but I mean, I do know a guy who does that, and
Perfect.
he could, yeah. And you saw what it looks like,
Yeah, I was thinking about giving away shirts in Atlantic City, but I haven't decided yet.
and then what? Here's some of the questions you need to ask yourself before you even know, because I already know some of it. One, what sizes are you going to need?
Yeah.
Are you going to go with different sizes? Or are you going to go with one size? And
Colors.
one size doesn't fit all the time. Now, that's just a second. I know. And then the other is how much do you want to spend on each shirt? Here's where the budget comes in, because there's several levels of shirts. There's
Sure.
polo shirts, there's t-shirts, there's v-neck, there's regular,
Also
there's
levels of
this,
print,
yeah,
like colors are different
yeah.
presses,
And
right? Yeah.
so if there might be that a different ink costs more. Do you want blue ink? Do you want black ink? Do you want white ink? And then you want to figure out what color, your color scheme.
How
And
big, how intricate is the
right,
design?
and how, yeah, right. And how
Yeah.
many you want? The more
Yeah.
the price gets cheaper in a sense for
The more
if
you
you
get,
get
yeah, yeah,
the more
yeah,
you get.
yeah, yeah.
And what's the shipping on it? And when do you need it? Because if you're going to need it, you would want to get on it before you need it, not the day, because he might be doing somebody else. So
Yeah,
that would
see,
be with
these
anybody.
these are the questions I wish people would run through their head before they got to me.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what we're asking people to do, is troubleshoot all the things, because you want to know the answers, but you need to know the questions too. It's sort of like I've been studying almost 4 hours a day on retirement and how to invest my money and where taxable and everything. But then now I know I have a sheet of paper for all the things, what's Social Security and how much can you make till you go to the next tier? IRMA, how much can you make? And then when can you retire? And how much do you climb every year? So there's so many questions. And you're the people I work with, if you don't answer questions, they don't care because they're making money off you anyway. You know, uh, if you don't knock the boat, rock the boat, baby, you're not getting these answers, and you don't even know if they're doing right for you. So you got to check your own stuff. And did you know every year, almost once a year, you can go and call every provider, and most of them can give you some kind of discount up to 10 to 20%. It depends on how nice you are and how good a community. Chris Voss, you go look at him before you make those calls.
Yeah.
And then make those calls, and you can so go study Chris Voss for a while and then make those calls, and you can, take 10 to 20% off almost anything. And he tells you how to do it at airports, and how to do it at, you know, places where you get upgrades for free, because a lot of places can give you an upgrade for free. Then that's because it's discretional. They can give you discounts because they have the
That's another
power to
thing
do
people don't understand too. Like if you're just nice to somebody, you'll
it.
probably
Right.
you can get out of it better. But if being mean with somebody isn't going to get you anymore, right? Like,
Right. Uh and I can say I've been mad on the phone probably 10 or 15 times in my lifetime. But usually I understand the person on the other side of that phone most of the time is really not the terrible person. They're just doing a job. And yet sometimes they are.
oh,
So uh and as much as we help people, we can almost get that vibe. Oh, it's a spidey sense now. You can tell if somebody's the energy they're throwing at you is and Scott, you probably already understand that one of those things that you sense real quick is when somebody is not as educated as you. I mean, you pick up on it in the first probably 10 to 15 words they say. Oh, I got one of these. You know what I'm saying? And I can tell that the same way
it's the
with
narcissist that pisses me off because I can't catch it, but they're so good at being it, you know.
the other thing is when a customer calls and you're starting to pick up, do you want to really work with this person? If they start going, here's the thing that I pick up on really quick, and I don't really want to do this gig, is the first thing they go, uh, they give you 20 things that has to be done, and they say, well, we need a budget. We're trying to get it at a very low cost too.
Yeah, we're on a budget.
It's like they give you a detailed thing that they've already asked 100 other people, so they know exactly what they've already called 10 people before you, and even at the end of this call, all they're trying to do is get you to say a price. And now that's okay if you got a price and you don't want to deal with them. Say a bigger price and say, this is our price. And if come back, well, that's what I do too, is basically it's on availability. And I'm not even going to look. I used to go, because they say, can you give me 5 character artists, 4 ballooners, 3, and I'm going, I can usually, not always. Yet I don't look anymore. And I'm going to give you a yes until you're ready to book. This is the price for each individual if you want to book it. If you don't, and that's fine. And if you do, come back to me when you're ready to book, because it's going to take me 6 to 10 hours to get everybody in line. And then I'll guarantee it. But man, I did that. I mean, how many, and this is what good sales pitch on AI is they can put all those questions in,
Yeah.
and you don't have to ask, all this BS, because it will sift out those scum buckets.
Especially when you're like freaking working on a project and you got to stop what you're doing to answer the freaking phone. Then you're dealing with some yokel. Like,
Oh
golly.
my gosh. And so there's more than one, somebody, let's throw some of the really big benefits of having the AI answer the phone. One, people people might not want to talk to AI, but they know it's coming and they're getting more used to it. It's gonna then it they're not going to be yelling at an AI. It's not going to even react, so it doesn't matter.
So great.
You stupid AI! I can't believe you'd say that. He said,
Yeah, people have chatted things that were derogatory to my AI. There's a derogatory term that it texts to the bot, like because it was something about something that Anakin said to his robot, and that's the word he used. And then I Googled it, and I was like, "Oh, this is a derogatory term to."
But so some of these, okay, well, we know, okay, so we know AI is going to cost a little bit to use, okay? We know that, and if you don't have enough money,
I
it's going to take.
mean, you could
Yeah,
either do that or hire someone in the office.
right.
Like,
Right, but and most what what we believe, at least I believe with what you're saying to me, because I'm not selling it, but what I'm saying, what I believe is if your time's if your time is valuable, this is one thing you never can get back whenever it's never coming any more time. I mean, there is a caveat to that is if you stay in good health, you'll probably live longer. If you eat better, you'll probably live longer. If you don't go and do stupid things like jumping off mountains, you'll probably live better. Okay, you'll longer. So, with that said, we'll go back to what is AI can really do for you. One, it can save you time. It can save you frustration talking to these people who aren't going to book anyway. So you save time.
not only
And
does it
now,
take time talking, like I don't even read emails. Like I put it into freaking chat GPT and say, respond to this person. Like, okay.
and it saves, you don't have to, you don't have to know how to spell. It'll spell it for you. And you just talk into it and it does it. You have a secretary right there. How much would you pay a secretary per hour?
Well,
And,
Billie Jean says in California it's 70 minimum, $70,000 a year is minimum wage or something like that
okay,
per person.
$70,000. Right. But if you AI is not going to cost you $70,000 a year.
No, $200 a month or something at most. Like or three, $400 a month. Right.
Okay.
I think
Two to three.
with a smart website, I think I have like $300 for like a starter pack, and then like 400 will give you the voice AI, something like that. Not
What's
even
the
know.
voice AI? It talks.
Yeah, so basically it's an upgrade to do the voice, right? So if someone's chatting on your website and they take the phone number, they can chat and text them, right? But if they call you, they can have a voice AI talk to them. I forgot what I had for prices for the website. But yeah, what I have here, like it's gonna change because I'm meeting up with a new coach, and I guess, oh yeah, 297, 297 for regular AI in a website, and then 494 for the voice. But everything,
Mhm.
like everything that a business needs to run. Anyway, plus I set it up. But anyway,
And
but yeah,
you were talking last week about there's like 225 questions or two how many
two.
questions?
Okay, so yeah, that I have to go find the document, but
I think it was 250 questions.
or more.
So
Like I
yeah,
like because I didn't have to go through there I was shared a GPT which would talk to you through all the questions. So I didn't look at the document.
right. So you
But it
so
took
you,
over an hour to answer all the questions.
right. So what it's doing, it's getting personalized to what you believe and what you want your company to be by asking you 250 questions. So when they're calling this
Yeah.
bot already knows how you would answer that question.
Yeah.
So
And even if it's a little off, you just say, I didn't like that response, do it like this next time.
right. Uh, so you actually do, and you're paying somebody to answer phones and take your information, and also doing a semi sales pitch, and it'll weed out those people who what was
Billy
that?
Jean says he's made $30,000 in 1 month and he didn't make a single phone call. Like, I want that. I haven't figured that out yet.
Residual income. That's what that is.
Yeah. So yeah.
So the same thing with the people I keep on going back to is you got to spend some money to make money. Where are you with that? Especially if you want to retire someday.
Yeah,
Got to get some of that money going on.
not gonna retire anytime soon as far as I'm going.
So, but yeah, to have that. Okay, out there, just doing a who out there would who has a secretary? Does anybody have a secretary? And would you like one? And if so, would you like a cheaper one?
There you go.
AI.
See, there you go. I guess that's the pitch. I'm not. understanding, like
You know,
the
uh,
connection between how it works versus what you want to sell, and how do you explain that?
well, the thing I would think is the
And then
most
is it like a
important
bait and
thing.
switch? Like, oh, I thought I was getting this, but this is what it is. Like, I don't understand that part either. Like,
Well, two things it's doing. If two of the major benefit, okay. One, it's saving you time, it's saving you effort and having to explain something, and they do it. So you save time two ways. You're not there and you couldn't answer the phone, so you least get that opportunity. Then it can ask it all those questions, and then if it stays and calls you again, now you don't even have to do a sales pitch. It sold it for you. So now, if you're not a very good salesperson, now, just when you're asking them, they say, how many calls you get? And they say, well, we get about 20 or 40 a month. Okay, 20 or 40. How many do you book of those 20 or 40? We book about 10. So right now you're only getting 10 out of 40. Now, we'd want to look into that really quick to say, why didn't you get half or more? Do you have the product, whatever it is, entertainer? Why did you lose those? We want to look into that before we go on to the next step. What's your sales pitch like? And then we could say another thing that this AI does, it gives a better sales pitch, maybe. And you could actually, instead of only getting 10 of them, you get 20. So it doubled your money again that way. And now, and you're getting more calls. So there's 60 calls instead of that's being answered, and of the calls that's you're getting, okay, 40, but you're answering them and you're answering them quick on time. See, that's what people really don't understand. Johnny on the spot gets the first call.
yeah, Dion told me he was at his parents' house, and they needed somebody to go fix their sink, or there was a plumber emergency. Like, and he's like, I'm just going down the list. Like, I just need this done. This one didn't answer. This one didn't answer. This one didn't have an answering machine. Like, I'm just gonna keep
And
going.
I'm going to tell you, the ones with the most money, they don't care. The ones with the most money, they don't care. They just want somebody, they want to know they're good, they're dependable, and whoever answer that phone first, they're not worried about price, they're worried about,
Damage
quality.
in the house or whatever. Like, it just needs to be freaking fixed.
Right. First come, if you can do it, it's your job, we want it done now.
Yeah.
And so there's so many benefits to your service. I mean, it depends on where you're at. If you want more business, then that is like, I think that one of the number one sales. What first? It saves your time and it saves your business, because if you're not there to answer it, the second call might have been, $10,000 gig or a $5,000 gig. Depends on really how much you can usually make on a call.
Especially if
So
you're into air conditioning, it's $10,000 minimum to go out.
yeah.
Like to fix,
Well,
like
I
to
mean, to
replace
get,
them.
you every once in a while, you're going to have to replace a new one, and that could be up to $35,000 for those units. So you're missing a $5,000 or $10,000 call. That's a
Yeah,
no-brainer.
you don't want to miss that. Like,
No, so that's definitely, it's a high end that can afford somebody, because I and every almost every no, that's not true. I was going to say most of the time they'll have an answering service at least, if you got something like that, because they already know if they don't get that call they could lose the $5,000 or $10,000, so they're already on it. Yet you could go to those kind of places and say, with that said, we've got an AI could do that in for a third of the price, you know
I don't know. There's so many different things. AI can answer the phone call. AI can send emails. AI can schedule appointments, and then you just show up and go to the house. Like it can, you just wake up and go look at your phone and be like, okay, I'm going here,
can
here, and
AI
here.
bill them?
Yeah. It can bill them, and then when it's done billing them, saying, "Hey, if you could leave me a 5-star Google review, that'd be great." Automatic.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just on automation, like where you just do whatever it is that you do, and then you just wake up and execute. Like, All right. Well, I think
Okay.
it's like I like actually I had like three contracts signed in this last hour, so I gotta go just kind of tie up a few loose ends.
Good job.
All